I have to say I fall strongly in Kelly J's thoughts or where she's coming from with this, if I'm reading her correctly. And that is that I do want dress codes in the workplace and schools. I don't want AGPs in the classroom or beside me or anyone that I know or anybody at work. There's an airline that's got uniforms for for men if they want to wear dresses and that. And I sure as hell don't want to be on an airline with one of them leaning over me or my family or any kids, anyone. Um, who up against you in the aisle. Just no. If we don't have and keep our society standard of no, no, that's creepy, that instinct, that gut response that has evolved through the whole of evolution. There's a reason why we experience that. We're not going to dumb that down and say, no, no, no. Because of this, we're going to leave that door open a crack. And then we do have men in dresses with beards and ridiculous clothing and oversized body fake bits and crap in our classrooms once we open that door. So I'm firmly on the side of yes, we do have dress codes and society expectations of what's appropriate in certain settings.
Well, Twitter hates me and I can't have a co-host, so I'm afraid you just left with me, ladies. So what I would really need you to do is, if anybody sees anybody dodgy in the room, send me a DM. But if I'm not responding because it is difficult for me to see them when I'm trying to run the room as well, just shout out as well.
Well, just so that you know, Isla and Robbie, I think, are going to have a space as well. They said in the live chat, so in case you wanted to know that.
Well, obviously I won't be able to attend because poor Robbie blocked me.
Oh,
Right, anyway, can we get back to the fucking
Anyway.
Right, on you go, darling.
It's interesting that she's, oh, so sorry. Interesting that she's, oh God, right, I'm going to have to do it in a minute.
Even the dogs agree. Just what they say, see if you're a woman who's a therapist and you've got letters after your name and you're making a big thing and you can't even say what it's for, and then a woman who is a mother of children and just wants to let women speak and fight for women's rights, why would you be nervous? You've wrote books, you're supposed to be the one with letters after your name. Why would you be nervous sitting having a conversation? Why would she be nervous? Because if I was writing books and I was doing conferences and shit, right, I wouldn't be nervous about going head to head with anybody.
I hesitate to press the button to speak almost to state the obvious, but we spend our time stating the obvious these days, so I suppose it's not unusual. But the main point I want to make is that you don't raise awareness of something harmful generally by platforming its perpetrators. I think if it was an addiction, then you do have reformed drug addicts who go and talk to people about how the damage that their drug addiction was. But something like this, or like even like not just fetishes, something like wife beating, you don't platform wife beaters in order to increase awareness of wife beating. And additionally, the people who are going to volunteer to get up on the stage, the AGPs who are going to volunteer to get up on the stage and to talk about the potential harms of AGP, are the ones who are seeking to minimise it. And we see that over and over again, that all of generally they start off by saying that they're reasonable transsexuals and then escalate into disclosing that they're AGPs, are the ones who are trying to minimise it and to make us okay with it. Then they're never going to be there having an honest conversation about the harm that they do to women. Why would they?
It's not even that. It's what that I've been repeating this for years. If we accept people like David Hayton into what is fundamentally a female movement, then we're excluding his wife. If we accept, so and so in, we're excluding their wife.
Dress codes and not like as disgusting as it is that apparently there are men who get off on wearing ugly velvet dresses. I'm not sure how that can be dealt with in a uniform way across the board without kind of opening up this slippery slope to
But when
dress codes
an
in
adult
general.
AGP man is indulging his fetish to a certain level, it has to be borne in mind that this, we know from evidence, does tend to escalate. It tends to be part of a cluster of paraphilias, some of which are more, let's say, contact focused than the non-contact offence of dressing up in your fetish gear in front of non-consenting partners. So another thing that I want to echo what Trans Widow said was, what's been really depressing to me is that so many women who find it distasteful to listen to women talk about domestic violence, especially at the hands of a fetishist, are now saying we need to hear more from the fetishist. So what does it say about society that they're willing to hear a man talk about his fetish, but they don't want to hear the pain of a woman or a child who's been subjected to it? Because men calling themselves trans and forcing women to play along are just a subset of abusive men. And finally, regarding an alternative to WPATH, do we not already have tools to deal with OCD, autism, self-harm, dissociation, child sexual abuse and grooming? They're pretending that this is some new magical area, but it isn't. My instincts are telling me that the way forward from the safeguarding crisis is to get politicians to recognise it first of all, and then make sure that the bodies who have responsibilities for safeguarding go back and apply the bloody safeguarding principles they should have had all along.
Hi, yeah, great space so far. I hope I make sense because it's actually past my bedtime. I'm not normally up this late. I just wanted to say a few things. I mean, first of all, what they are grooming GC world to accept a compromise, to accept an idea that there is some sort of thing called trans and there are some decent AGP men, and, you know, ignore the fact that they're actually enacting a sexual obsessive paraphilia. And as for a new W path, just no. Why would we want that? So no new W path, no trans, no gender in the NHS at all, or anywhere really come to that. And one more quick point about the clothes. The lady earlier, whose name I forget now, sorry, mentioned about, well, you know, you can't get really too funny about them cross-dressing when they're out and about because, that's a worry for people that like to dress in a gender non-conforming way. And cross-dressing and imitating women, that's not dressing in a GNC manner. There's a huge difference, and it's very annoying when people kind of pretend there isn't.
Well, I think we can all agree that narcissism, there's enough to go around. There's plenty on the other side, but we know that there's enough on our side too. I think you do need a certain level of narcissism in some respects. I mean, that I see women doing things that I wouldn't do. But it's when it becomes unhealthy.
Just quickly in reference to dress codes, school uniform. As a parent, very poor. School uniforms, fantastic. It meant that our kids didn't have to have, you know, fashionable shit to go to school. Everybody had school uniforms. If I'm going out downtown to an adult club, yeah, then I think there's a reasonable amount of leeway to some degree. But again, going downtown to a club, you know, if there's a man going downtown to a club in a pair of fucking Speedos, yeah, I'm not going to be keen on that club. I don't want his sweat flinging all over me. There's like a bare minimum of reason why we cover up. I don't want to sit in somebody else's sweaty arse space. It's not just prudishness. It's like, yeah, keep your sweat in your own clothes. That's why we wear clothes, to soak your sweat up, all right?
But yeah, I'm terribly holy today. Respectable.
I think I would just spontaneously combust if I went in the church like that.
Nobody tells the truth in confession.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna confess something to the room because I don't care, because I don't believe anymore. But when I was a kid, you had to go to confession every Saturday. Anyway, I remember being about 9 and just making up the most random stuff, like I'd murdered somebody. All of it. But the parish priest went and had a word with my mum and told me to go, and I was like, got a telling off for like making up sins, because I was just like, well, what do you go in there and say? Because, like, you know, I haven't coveted anybody's wife, or
You must have got at least
That's
20 Hail Marys
amazing.
through that, making up sins.
Well, I would definitely say, yeah, I do fancy someone else's wife, but you know,
Same.
we haven't told the husband. Yeah, we're just keeping it under wraps.
Wow, at 9. Well, I mean, okay. I mean,
I don't know.
No
When
one
I was
I'm
in
sitting there thinking
primary
about.
school, when I was in primary school, I had a really hot teacher.
Yes.
Yeah,
Me
like
too.
honestly, I was just like, oh, hello, who are you, and why are you
Yes.
female, and why do I fancy you,
I
and
still remember everything about her, her name, everything. Yeah.
yeah, I did that too, and it's the
Mm.
only reason I'm really in high school. The reason I'm fantastic at maths is because I really liked my maths teacher. Like
Mine was an
I
English teacher. Yeah.
and
She knew I had eyes for her, and so I always like went to the storeroom and carried all of the heavy textbooks for her. Like she basically used me
did
like
she
a
ever meet you
donkey to
outside of
do hard
school?
labor.
Did she ever meet you outside of school?
No.
And so when I was just because of where my birthday is, just before I was about to finish like high school, I kind of in theory graduated. We were just filling in the weeks. I actually, obviously, because I had horses, we went horse riding. My
Mm.
maths teacher, she's perfectly straight, would never do anything, but we used to have such a laugh and hang out together because she wasn't that. In theory, she was only about like 9 years older than me. It's funny how there's an influence of teachers on people. Um,
Mm.
like they're sort of role models in theory. It's education, but yeah, I was always just good at maths and science, because I really liked my maths teacher. Um, but she was very cute, and not even my type now. Like if I was
Hmm.
the type, she wouldn't be it. But there was something about her I liked. So yeah. Just
I
like
think I would.
didn't
I think
break the rules, always on time, really polite, all of those things, even out of school like that. And no, I go for something that'll get me just about arrested.
Oh no.
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought my child be safe in the. It's relatively Catholic, but they call it integrated because there's loads of different types of religions there. But all I could think of in mass today, and I was just like sitting there thinking, a transgender bus, bus full of transgender people went to visit the Pope. A bus full of transgender people went to visit the Pope.
I
A
wonder if
bus
he
full
met
of,
them on Grinder.
I mean, oh,
mind
it's
you,
just gonna be.
there was a freedom of information request to the Vatican City, and is it? Oh, who are those weird guards that guard the Vatican City with a stupid outfit? Are they the Swiss guard or something? Though they look
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they're ridiculous. But yeah,
Yeah, but
apparently,
there was a freedom of information
oh,
request
yeah,
to the Vatican City, and they were asking about the internet and thing, and the amount of gay porn that was like being downloaded, and it was out in one of the Italian newspapers. I'll see if I can find it before I end the space, and I'll put it out there. It was hysterical, and I was like going, mate, no one, yeah, they're all on Grinder and all the rest of it. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a shit show! I tell you what,
they
Sister
don't need to
Finian,
be on
back in
Grinder.
the day, she would have had words. I'm not saying
They've got
Sister
access
Finian.
to loads of men. They
When was
don't need to
this?
be on Grinder.
I'm going to end this space, but I am going to say do not Google Vatican City gay sex scandal, Swiss guards.